Look closely at Los Angeles on the morning of May 1st, 2026. What should be a gridlocked rush hour is strangely quiet. The freeways are emptying, and the normal rhythm of the city is grinding to a halt. The activity hasn't vanished, it has relocated. Down at MacArthur Park, over 100 different organizations, from labor unions to student groups, are converging for a 10 a.m. start. The strategy for the day centers on a total economic blackout. Organizers have instructed their members to skip work, skip school, and refrain from spending a single dollar. By withdrawing from the city's daily systems, these workers aim to test a specific hypothesis, that the city's basic functions stop when their labor does. It is a calculated attempt to make their demographics' presence visible through its absence. Because the crowd is heavily Latino, and you hear the chants of Primero de Mayo, it's common to assume this is a Mexican national holiday that crossed the border along with the workers. But the origins of May Day belong strictly to the United States. While workers in neighboring countries like Mexico currently enjoy this as a paid, state-sponsored day off, these protesters are in the streets fighting to reclaim an event that actually started on American soil. The route for today's march leaves the park and pushes directly east into the heart of the city. It cuts through the dense downtown grid and ultimately terminates at Los Angeles City Hall. To understand why they are marching on this specific date, we have to look back to Chicago in the spring of 1886. Thousands of industrial workers went on strike demanding a standard 8-hour workday. A peaceful protest days later escalated into the Haymarket Affair, a chaotic and deadly clash between workers and police. That sacrifice resonated so loudly across the Atlantic that by 1889, European socialist and labor groups officially declared May 1st as International Workers' Day to honor those American strikers. Over time, different governments embraced the date in different ways. In Mexico, May 1st became an official, state-sanctioned national holiday. It's marked by large institutional union gatherings closely tied to national identity. The United States took the opposite path. During the Cold War, the government associated May Day's labor origins with global communism. To distance the country from that movement, federal recognition was shifted to a completely different holiday, Labor Day, in September. That political maneuver created two parallel realities. Mexico officially adopted the American-born labor holiday, while the United States buried it, leaving grassroots activists to eventually resurrect it in the streets. MacArthur Park serves as the logistical anchor for the march, building on its history as a central hub for day laborers, street vendors, and immigrant communities. The modern fight has evolved far beyond the factories of the 1880s. In 2006, millions joined massive nationwide boycotts, merging historic labor grievances with the modern demand for immigrant rights. Activists called these protests a day without an immigrant. The tactic and the name were directly lifted from the premise of a satirical film that imagined California's economy freezing up without its Latino workforce. Today, that freeze is a physical reality. Anyone trying to navigate Los Angeles will encounter thousands of people moving on foot, resulting in severe road closures and major traffic delays all along the Wilshire Corridor and into the downtown sector. To manage the massive flow of people, organizers have deployed trained civilian peacekeepers along the road to keep the march organized, operating alongside a highly visible police presence. Navigating Los Angeles right now means physically intersecting with a movement that uses 19th century strike tactics to secure modern protections for vulnerable workers. As the crowd fills the plaza at City Hall, their demands reflect a broad economic platform. They are pushing for a clear pathway to citizenship, but they are also demanding higher minimum wages, affordable housing reforms, and tax increases on the ultra-wealthy. This coalition operates on the logic that labor protections and immigrant status are inextricably linked. In their view, a worker's rights cannot be secured if their legal standing remains precarious. The industrial factory worker of the 1880s has been replaced. The person standing in a neon safety vest with a megaphone is the modern equivalent, representing the undocumented workers, service staff, and gig drivers who actually keep the supply chains running. The day without an immigrant concept has resonated outward. Teachers, healthcare staff, and app-based delivery drivers are now adopting these same blackout tactics to push back against widening economic inequality across multiple industries. What started over a century ago as a desperate, localized strike for an 8-hour shift has matured into a deeply organized coalition. The streets of Los Angeles show a unified labor force leveraging its massive economic weight against modern corporate structures. This has been Wisdom for Your Day. For more, visit YouTube by the same name.